Cassie with Twined with Rosemary, a cut flower farm located in central Utah, zone 5B, and we are planning out our seed calendar this year. I wanted to hop on and show you guys how you can make your own seed starting calendar too. When to start your seeds, what to start when, and why we start them that way. So hit that subscribe button really quick. It really helps our channel out, and then follow along and I'm gonna teach you how to do your own seed starting calendar. If you have any questions at all after this video, please drop them in the comments. I will be sure to respond to all of your questions. Before we jump in, go get your calendar, whatever you use to mark on things, whether that be your phone or a paper calendar, whatever you're gonna use, grab a calendar and go get your frost dates. So you can go to the Farmer's Almanac, you can Google your frost dates, just go get the frost dates for your area. When does it stop freezing in the spring and when does it start freezing in the fall? Those are very important dates and we're gonna base everything around that. We start our seeds two different ways. We either start them in trays and then take them out into the garden and plant them, or we plant them directly into the garden, and that is called direct seeding. And so if I refer to direct seed, that's what I mean. We put the seed straight into the ground and we don't help it along in any way before we put it there. We also have flowers that are called cool flowers, and those flowers can handle a little bit of frost and go out a little bit earlier into the yard than we do our flowers that don't like it to freeze. Our cool flowers go out before the last frost. They like a good cold period. Okay, let's jump in. Okay, the goal is that by the end of this video, you are able to make your own seed starting calendar. So I'm starting in February, where I'm gonna succession plant our Lisianthus, and I'm gonna sprinkle some poppies outside right over the snow. I'm gonna plant some echinacea, and then I'm gonna move into March. And in March, we're doing cold hardy plants in March, okay? Because in March in zone 5B, it's still real chilly. So we're actually still getting some snow. We're gonna start indoor flowers, and we're gonna start all of our flowers that on the back of the packet, it says start the 10-week flowers. So anything that is 8 to 10 weeks, I'm starting my first succession on this day. These are going outside into the yard. And then as you can see, as I flip this, there's gonna be another succession of these in a couple weeks right here. So then in April, we're really ramping up. We're getting all kinds of successions into the garden. We're getting, every 2 weeks, we're planting out another couple hundred seeds every 2 weeks. Each particular seed, each specific seed is getting planted out there every 2 weeks. Then here we're starting our 6 to 8 week seeds. So for us on this day, this is 6 to 8 weeks before our last frost date. So we are starting indoor seeds. We are planting stuff out into the garden. And so this is all of our Lisianthus needs to go right out into the yard. That first week of May, last week of April, we are getting it all going. And then it's really crazy in May. This is the craziest. May and June are the craziest months. And we are starting all of these things either inside or outside. And then this says stop successions when it's done frosting. So our last frost date is supposed to be June 10th, but sometimes it's in May. So I made a note, do not plant dianthus after it stops the frost. So once it's done frosting, we are done with that flower. So this is also plant out my Lisianthus. And then every 2 weeks, I'm planting out certain specific seeds. Okay, this is our last frost date. So now everything from here on out is not being started as a seed. It is going straight out into that garden. Being direct seeded straight out into the garden. So we've got our kale, our mountain snow, our bee balm. We're doing some amaranth. And every 2 weeks we are doing this. All right, here we go. Now we're getting some serious notes. July 6th is 110 days before our first frost date, which means July 6th, I am done planting anything that takes longer than 110 days to bloom, because it will not have an opportunity to bloom prior to our frost. And then this is 88 days before that frost date. So 88 days before our frost date, I am done planting basically everything. There's only a few things that will bloom less than 88 days. So again, we're doing every 2 weeks, we're planting out all of those seeds. We are getting it going. August really ramps down. However, it's high season for production, for cutting, for bouquets. It's really still busy. It's just less seed planting and more enjoying those blooms. So now we're just Sorry, I can't flip the page. So now we're into September and we're done. That's it. That's our very last succession plant of anything. And then October, I've got my first frost date. And this is only spring and summer plants. I did not put anything for a fall garden on here. So that's a whole different calendar and a whole different video. Let's start with Lisianthus. So Lisianthus takes a very long time to get established, lots and lots of weeks. We're gonna start these 13 weeks before they go out to the yard. And they go outside 4 weeks before our last frost date. So I'm gonna count back 4 weeks from June 10th. So I'm gonna show you right here. I've got June 10th circled. So we're gonna go count back 1, 2, 3, 4. We're planting Lisianthus into our yard May 13th. May 13th. So we need to count back 13 weeks from that. That puts us the beginning of February. So for us in Zone 5B in Central Utah, we are planting our Lisianthus actually right now. So now you are gonna find your last frost date on your calendar. You're gonna circle it. You're gonna go back 4 weeks. You're gonna mark an asterisk. That's when the cold hardy plants need to go into the ground outside. And then you are gonna go back 10 more weeks before that, and you're gonna start your cold hardy plants in your seed trays. And now that's how you know when to start your seeds. So seeds that I'm starting right now, because they need a good 4-week cold period, are gonna be Lisianthus and Snapdragons. They take a very long time to get going. Echinacea we're planting in the ground right now. As soon as if you can work your soil, you are putting this right into the ground because it likes a good cold period before it can really take off. It also takes a year before we're harvesting from that plant. So just know that if you're planting Echinacea, you're planting it for your future self, which is so awesome. Future you is gonna be so happy that you planted Echinacea this year for you for next year. You're welcome. Now we've got our plants that are gonna go straight into the yard. We're direct seeding them. They are a cold hardy plant and they're gonna be direct seeded straight out into that garden as soon as the soil can be worked. For us, that's March. The middle of March, we can work our soil and I can get my cold hardy plants in the ground. They like to be direct seeded. These are the ones that we do that. Ami, Ocean Pearls, this is corn cockle. Ocean Pearls, Nigella, Bells of Ireland, Buporium, Larkspur, Nigella, and Bachelor Buttons. I've got lots of Bachelor Buttons. Orlea, and Poppies. Poppies I'm planting actually right now. Okay, those are our cold, hardy, cool flower, like a good cold spell plants that we are direct seeding. They don't need to be started indoors. Those are the ones we're doing. So these are the seeds that need to be started 6 to 8 weeks before our last frost. So for us, I have it marked. That's March 22nd for us. When you look on the back of the package of the seeds and it tells you start this 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost, you're gonna find your frost date on your calendar, circle it, and count back 6 to 8 weeks. I recommend counting back 8 weeks, starting them, 2 more weeks, starting another batch, and 2 more weeks, starting another batch of them. So March 22nd, I'm gonna be starting Dianthus, which are just little carnations. China asters, I love them, really pretty. Celosia. Okay, the plants that we're starting 4 to 6 weeks before our last frost are Scabiosa, Snow on the Mountain, Didicus, Strawflower, and Ornamental Kale. Putting kale in our bouquets is so fun. Now we're moving on to direct seeding. These are the flowers that we're gonna plant directly into the ground. These either are fast growing or they hate root disturbance. So that means if I start them inside and then move them outside, they hate it. They don't thrive that way. These are the flowers we're gonna plant directly into the garden after the danger of any kind of frost. Cosmos. So many sunflowers. So many. This is only half or a third. Marigolds, cress and explosion grass, calendula, explosion grass, amaranth, sunflowers, sunflowers, Zanzibar, zinnias, and more sunflowers. So excited for this growing season. I can't even wait. It's gonna be amazing. Go make your seed starting schedule right now so you are on top of it. You know exactly what needs to go in the ground and when it needs to go there, and you don't forget to get your stuff in the ground. Let's talk succession planting. We want to succession plant so we have continuous blooms throughout the entire season. So if I planted 100 sunflowers all on the same week, I'm gonna have 100 sunflowers in 60 days, but I'm not gonna have 100 sunflowers in 70 or 80 or 90 days. In order to have sunflowers all summer long, I've gotta plant my sunflowers, however many I want. Every 2 weeks, I'm planting a new succession of sunflowers. So I'm starting planting succession June 1st. For me, that's my last frost date. So on your last frost date, you're gonna start planting one succession. 2 weeks later, you'll start another succession and another succession. So for us, it'll be the 1st, then the 14th, then the 21st, then the 28th, and into July. And that's how you succession plant. So how do you know when it's time for you to stop planting your sunflower successions? You're gonna take your frost date, your first frost date, your fall frost date. You're gonna count back 60 days, because that's how long it takes to get a sunflower from seed to bloom. You'll count back 60 days, and you will stop planting sunflowers that day. That'll be it. If you want to know what makes a good seed starting area or how to create a good seed starting environment, click this and watch this next video. Please hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel a lot. I really hope this helped you. Thank you for tuning in. It's 60 degrees outside today in February, so I'm gonna get out there.